Jill Gonzalez.
And I'm Myra Castillo, and we're here with B2B TV.
Besties in business, yeah!
Today we're here with Courtney Ilarraza, who is the founder of Baby Bodyguards. And Baby Bodyguards is a child safety company that was founded here in Brooklyn, but now is licensed and franchised and throughout the country. So we want to hear all about the business of babies.
Thank you for having me here today. So Baby Bodyguards is a full-service child safety company. We specialize in car seat installation. I'm a certified passenger safety technician, which means that I am one of like the 2 people in Brooklyn that has a certification in installing car seats properly. Statistics are showing that 3 out of 4 car seats are installed completely incorrectly.
Wow.
So we're trying to remedy that.
Okay.
I'm also an American Heart Association CPR instructor.
Okay.
And we also specialize in home safety consultations and baby-proofing homes.
For the audience to know, your background is actually in law.
Yes, I am a former criminal prosecutor.
You were very polite about
Very
it.
polite about it, yes.
Wait, okay, so, but now, what gave you the idea and how did you kind of transition?
Okay, so after law school, I went straight to the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office.
Okay.
And I was working in the investigations bureau there, and at the same time, I also got pregnant with our first child. And when I was pregnant, it really struck me that I wanted a different lifestyle. I wanted the flexibility of being able to be, home with my children. I just didn't want to do the daily grind, working for the man. I just didn't want to do that anymore. So at the same time, we had heard about 2 people, acquaintances, whose children had suffered injuries that could have been prevented. And it dawned on us that, and I say us, I had this company with my husband, that this service doesn't exist in New York City. There are handymen that'll take care of things, but you have to already know the things that you need taken care of.
Right.
There wasn't a service that actually educated parents and then also took care of everything.
Okay.
And I know that in the beginning, the business was more of a child-proofing business, and then but now it's a child safety business. So how did that happen? And
So at first it was, we heard about these incidents, and one of them was a child that had pulled on a tablecloth and a carafe of coffee came pouring on them. And for children, it happens. It happens more often than you think. I actually know 2 people that this has happened to. The children end up, in the burn unit. 1 cup of coffee is enough to, 60-70% of the body. So basically, we came up with a curriculum. We'll call it a curriculum of all of these things. We worked with Mount Sinai Hospital and other city hospitals, pediatric emergency rooms, firefighters, to generate a list of what are children being injured with? What are the injuries that are happening that could be prevented? And then that curriculum became part of our baby proofing service. So we would come to someone's house with this curriculum, go through it with the parent, and then address all the needs.
Right. I was thinking how a lot of people, I'm sure, will go to Target and buy those little knobs to like clock, not allow the kid to open up the cabinet.
Right.
But that's not what you do. It's not the same as you just showing up with a bunch of stuff.
Well, we have 2 types of clients. We have the clients that went to Target, went to Buy Buy Baby, went to Home Depot, bought hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, tried spending a Saturday doing it. It's not the right stuff for their cabinets, for their stairs, and then they call us anyway.
Right.
And then the other, it's the majority of our clients are people that are very busy.
Yeah.
They work all the time, and it's like, what is your time worth?
Right.
You can have an expert come in, take
And
care of everything in 3 hours, and be
Uh-huh.
with your family on the weekend.
Right.
Like,
Right.
And talk to us, sort of to segue, the idea of franchise versus licensing. I know that gets talked about all the time. Like, what made you guys decide on a franchise versus a license?
Licensing is a lot easier.
But that's what we heard. We heard licensing was easier. So give us the pros of franchise.
Well, the pros of franchise are both parties are more protected. Okay. To have a franchise, it's governed by the Federal Trade Commission.
Right.
It's thousands of pages of documents.
Yeah.
You guys, you know us going back for years. It took years. To get all of that documentation, and we did it on our own, which took a lot of time. But it's just, we know that we know our rights, we know our franchisees' rights, and we feel that it's the best way to protect both parties.
Yeah.
Right.
But
especially with a business like yours.
Yes.
But
Right.
it's good to note that like it's not an overnight thing. You don't just decide like, oh, I'm going to franchise, and like, it's like it was like a real process. And even though you've got a legal background, it's like a specialized legal like process too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a question for you because you both now do this full time,
yeah.
and I know that your business is how old now?
About 8 years.
8 years,
Yeah.
and that wasn't always the case.
No.
And there's a long road when one decides to start a business sometimes.
Right.
And I had the same thing. I used to temp.
Yeah.
And
I was full time and she was temping.
So Joe was full time and I was temping. And so tell us about because for me that was the hardest period.
Right.
I don't care. I wake up in the morning and I work hard for this business till the time I go to bed, and that works for me. Like that doesn't feel as like hard as when I woke up and went to a temp job and like felt like my soul was being sucked out, and then got home and then worked hard, on our business.
Yeah.
So tell us about like some of those things and
how long that transition period lasted.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like there were a lot of tragic things which brought us to Baby Bodyguards in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, so my husband owns a title insurance company
back
during the real estate boom. He was working maybe 5-hour days, bringing home, lots of money.
Yeah.
And one day that just stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working at the DA's office.
Yeah.
It was a great job. It was a government job, great benefits, very little pay.
Yeah.
And he was the money.
Right.
And then here I was pregnant and the phone stopped ringing.
Yeah.
And there were lots of baths where I was getting the ideas. Actually.
Right.
And I said to him, like, we were desperate. Like, we had a mortgage and a baby on the way, and we were desperate. And I was like, you need to take any odd job that comes your way.
Right.
He was going to old people's homes and taking out their air conditioners. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
He was putting up people's bookshelves. Like, if there was money to be made, I was like, you're not going to sit here.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you need to make some money.
Yeah.
And then we came up with the baby body. We realized that there were these handy people
Right.
that would do some of these things.
Isn't it so interesting how like a really rough circumstance like led to opportunity?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can either fall down and wallow in your own self-pity or come up with a plan.
Right.
He started doing this full time. And we had the hardest thing was how do you acquire clients?
Right.
So here's a service that doesn't exist.
Right.
How do we make people know that we exist?
Yeah.
Right.
So we came up with an idea of reaching out to relevant mommy bloggers in the area.
Yeah.
And kind of like a fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not like we started yesterday.
Yeah.
Can we, but this is our service. Can we come to your house and give you our service? And if you are pleased with it.
Investing in the business, it's a marketing investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Will you write about us?
A lot of people cheap out in the early stages and think that they should, you've got to be strategic. I think you need to demand what you're worth, but you also have to be strategic.
But here's the thing. I will tell you.
Yeah.
We started this company with $5,000.
Yeah. So did we. That's so funny. Yeah.
So I mean, what did it cost to do a consultation for a blogger? It didn't cost us anything.
Yeah. Right.
Except a few products.
Right.
This person, it was A Child Grows in Brooklyn was the blog, and that was 8 years ago. She's since sold it. She lives in Chicago now, but she made our business.
Yeah.
She posted this review. And I remember the first phone call that came in. You know, Fred was on the phone. I was kind of like listening at the doorway, like jumping up and down, like what? What? And the phone just kept ringing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's how we got our initial client base. So at the same time, I was working 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then as business kept coming in, I scaled back to 3 days a week, which was still enough to keep my health benefits.
Right.
And I had, my baby at the time. But every night, every weekend, every lunch hour was spent returning phone calls, pitching.
You were working 2 jobs.
And a baby. So I mean, essentially 3 full-time jobs.
3 full-time jobs.
I still had, victims calling me for their trials. I mean, it was a lot, juggling a lot, and it wasn't graceful and it wasn't easy. But it was a grind. I mean, if there was a spare moment, I was outside of Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks with brochures in my hands and giving one to every baby carriage that passed my way. I mean, that was just what we did.
Right.
And
it's a hustle.
It was a hustle.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot of sleep, a lot of tears. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Right.
And there were a lot of times where you'll run your business idea by someone and they'll say, people will pay for that?
Yeah. Oh,
or
gosh.
what?
I still my parents still say that.
What advice would you give to younger Courtney? Like 8 years ago, now you know all this stuff. Like, what would you tell yourself, basically?
To be patient.
Uh-huh.
Be patient and be persistent.
Yeah.
it doesn't happen overnight. The other thing I would say is to stay away from, I know you're going to laugh, but the negative people.
Yeah.
You know, I spend so much time caring what other people thought about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I look at them, they're still where they were.
Yeah.
You know, they're still working that office job.
Yeah.
You know, I call them lobsters. You ever see the lobsters
Yeah.
that are crawling up the tank and there's other lobsters trying to knock them down?
Yes.
There were a lot of lobsters at my city job. They're still there.
Yeah.
You know, they're still there planning their retirement with their pension that might be there.
Right.
You know, so I would also say, you know, to other people to take a risk, but a calculated risk.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't quit my job and say, where's the business? You know, am I making money yet?
Right.
Right.
You know, it was at the point where I realized that by me being at my city job, we were losing money.
Right.
Right.
And that I could acquire more clients doing it full time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that took 5 years.
Good it's good advice. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And if you'd like to get more information, you can visit us at bestiesinbusiness.com, or you can check out our YouTube channel, Besties in Biz.
Thank you.